Oh my God, now my script is just like, look, I'm really tired and it's sold at Revolve because what on this list isn't? Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Every Closet. My name is Stephanie and along with my partner Ethan, we are two full-time resellers of used clothing on places like Poshmark and eBay. In today's video, we are continuing with our BOLO Alphabet. Now, I'm not entirely sure where Ethan cut off the last one, so I'm just gonna keep going with my script as I have it, and we're, not gonna do much preamble. If you haven't seen the intro video explaining what's going on here, Ethan, please link that up in the corner. Otherwise, let's get going because we don't have any time to waste. Okay, Algeria. This is a shoe brand. It very much reminds me of Dansko's, except they're a little bit less valuable. So here's what the label looks like. They're supposed to be comfortable and good for your joints. They make shoes specifically for nurses and people have to be on their feet a lot, which is cool. I'm having a hard time finding the brand's history, but here's the logo, and to be frank, I doubt you care anyway. So they usually resell between $20 and $50. So I'd basically not buy these unless they were under $5 because there are too many $25 comps for my general liking to pay up for things. They retail in the range of like 130, but nevertheless, you can make good money flipping these things. So I gotta tell you about them, even if you really shouldn't pay too much for them. Next is Allie and Jay. Let's go over this one nice and quickly. It is carried sometimes at Anthropologie, and honestly, the comps are not too shabby for an Anthro-associated brand. No offense, Anthro. Here's the tag, and the comps are almost always over $30, which is great. I can reach up to around 65, and then obviously newer tags can go higher. I'm impressed though. I did see one newer tags dress sold for $13, so that's not okay. Anyway, middle to lowish tier bolo, but I'd pick it up, don't pay up for it. And I'll use this brand to state for the record, a lot of people sell Anthropologie pieces for less than $20 secondhand, and I don't always think that is super necessary, especially if you're Canadian. But hey, if your cost of goods is cool with that and you get that bag, always get that bag. Okay, next. Elias May. So this is an Australian shoe brand. This is the label on the shoe, or here's another view of it from the other side. The shoes resell in the range of $35 to $100. Very much not bad. Someone did sell a pair for $8, and I don't think you should do that. Although some days I get it. I get it. Some days, man, I do get it. Yeah, that's the bolo. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, Alice and Olivia is another brand that most experienced women's clothing resellers would definitely know of. It was started by New York native Stacy Bendit, founded in 2002, and she wanted to create the perfect pair of pants. The brand was an immediate success, and shortly after its launch, Theory founder Andrew Rosen joined as a partner. So here's the brand tag. Learn to recognize that. It is a designer brand, though it does have some luxury level pieces like certain runway pieces. Specifically watch out for, but you do want to watch out for all of it because it is so well known. The resale market has gotten a little bit crowded as of late. So make sure you check each piece before you pay more than like $15 to $20 for one. But if you find it at the thrift or at the bins, anything under $10, immediate grab. No hesitation. I can't guarantee the pieces from this brand won't sit for a little while. I can only guarantee that as of right now, they're still holding pretty good resale value. Comps range pretty wildly, like $20 for some tops and smaller items, 40 to 50 for some older dresses, should be the minimum. And then there's obviously comps that reach much, much higher, and the sky's kind of the limit for a max here. High retail and declining, but absolutely solid resale in my opinion. We once sold a jacket from this brand for $450 US after only a few hours of listing it. So even if you keep seeing those lowball comps, always at least look the item up that you're specifically listing. Okay, the next brand is Alice McCall. It is another Australian fashion label that designs women's like party dresses, play suits, and separates. It was founded in 2004 by stylist, you guessed it, Alice McCall. Retail for their pieces is right around that $500 mark, give or take a few $100s. Here's the brand tag, and the resale is, say it with me, all over the place. Like $25 to $400 again. In this brand especially, I believe that to be mostly style dependent. So even more than usual, I want you to look up comps for the specific item that you have found before paying up for it. I still consider this brand a no-brainer at the thrift store or the Goodwill bins. Just if someone's charging you $50, look up the specific piece. Next is Alex of Bohemia. It was established in London in 2009. It had a few like limited runs, one of a time pieces, custom stuff. But then in 2018, it expanded beyond her bespoke pieces and began designing and producing collections for the annual seasons. So like ready to wear. $450 is the lowest retail price I've seen on their pieces, and up to $1,800. So the retail is high, or high if you like paying your rent anyway. Here's what the label looks like, and if you resell any piece by this brand for under $100, I will personally come for you. No, I'm kidding. I can't do that. But just know your buyer is likely to be sourcing and not shopping if you're selling under that amount. I wouldn't personally go under $175, and I've seen comps go as high as $700 or $800 or $900. So do not undervalue these pieces. There's a high tier BOLO. Next is Alex of Miami. Okay, so this is our first vintage label on this BOLO list, and I want to use this first instance to admit my knowledge of vintage is abysmal. I do not specialize in vintage. I feel like people who do actually like and know about fashion. I don't. I just sell fashion. I wear sweatpants or leggings from Costco, and I love shopping, but I don't have the background in fashion that most resellers do. What I do have is gumption and a very long history of research, memorization, and list making. So I will admit, if there's a place of sparsity on the BOLO list, it is vintage brands. We're going to sort of skim over them compared to the other brands, but if you are sufficiently enthusiastic, let me know in the comments. And like I did with Anthropologie, I will happily tackle this beast the best I can. It can only help my reselling business, which would then hopefully trickle and help all of y'all. That is the concept anyway. Anyway, back to Alex in Miami. It is only vintage, so if you find this label, you know you have a vintage piece for sure. It was a Miami, Florida-based company that was running from the 1950s to the end of the 1960s. They're known for tropical print dresses and bathing suits, often studded with rhinestones. Comps are a little low sometimes, but you should be able to go over $100 for a good condition piece, maxing out around $150 or $200 on Poshmark and eBay from what I've seen. Honestly, if you want top dollar for these dresses, maybe try selling them on Etsy. Etsy is apparently very good for reselling vintage, and a lot of these pieces are listed on Etsy for like $400. So maybe list these there if you find one, but they are a very reasonable pickup and 100% vintage. Allbirds, a classic reseller BOLO. Allbirds are shoes. Well, actually, they make clothing and shoes, but honestly, if you scroll through comps, it's like 98% shoes, and they're known for their shoes. So let's go over them. They are a New Zealand-based company where there are a lot of sheep, and they make their shoes from merino wool. A designer and an engineer came together and founded the brand. They're very sustainable, wildly popular, and apparently great shoes to own. Here's the label. I want to be honest, I'm not very experienced in this brand. I've never actually found them or worn them or had them, heard of them even before reselling. I say that because I know that this next part might be controversial, but the resale value of these shoes is declining. And that is not my opinion. That is me scrolling comps on Poshmark and eBay, multiple sales of these shoes under $30. It's not something I can ignore. But many people still swear by reselling these shoes, so I'm just here to tell you that comps generally range between $25 and $60. I'd still pick them up if I saw them. Maybe they're still like super quick flips. Maybe all those $15 to $20 comps have flaws. I don't know. Also, they only retail for just over $100, so $40 for a used pair is actually still very good value retention. But yeah, let's move on because I'm clearly just butthurt that I haven't found a pair of Allbirds yet in my 2 years of reselling. Next is Alley Hop. This is another Anthro sub-brand. I actually can't find evidence of it being carried anywhere else, so it is likely exclusive to Anthro, made by Anthro as well. They're mainly a swimwear brand, but they do have a few tops and other clothing. I wouldn't really pay those much attention. Those are all of the lowest comps anyway. Anthro isn't currently carrying any piece of it in 2022, but there are some very recent pieces. Resale is pretty good, ranging from $20 to $70. I would say averaging around $40. Totally worth a pickup at the thrift or cheaper sources. How are we still in AL? We've been in AL for like 6 years. Too many people name their kid Alex. All Saints. Okay, I actually find a lot of All Saints around where I live, and I've been lucky enough to profitably pick up 5 or so pieces of it. So let's pull up the label, and we have 3 sold comps, so we might as well pull up those 3 sold comps. Watch out because one of those is new at tags. We have a few more pieces for sale as well. They're kind of sitting. I am not shocked. All Saints can take a while to move. And looking through comps, a lot of people are letting it go for less than it's worth, as per usual. If I could sell a pair of earrings, though, for $33, then you shouldn't go selling their dresses for under $35, okay? That sounds like a nice basic starting point. The more valuable All Saints items for you to be looking for are sweaters, shoes, dresses, which can usually sell between $50 and $100, some styles a bit further, and then their purses, which can resell between $75 and $200. All the way up above that is their jackets, and in particular their leather jackets, which can resell for $200 to $400. So very solid brand to resell, and since I know too much about its resale value, we don't have time to look up the founder, sorry. But this video series does have to end sometime eventually, and I'm not even halfway done A, so The next brand is All Things Fabulous. This is a brand that I actually only found out because I was searching comps for the next brand on Poshmark when this brand's name popped up in the suggested brands. And lo and behold, reasonable comps. All Things Fabulous was, yep, I said was, a brand. It began in 2012, and as of 2022, it seems to have gone out of business. So recently that I can barely find any info on it having gone out of business. But during its tenure, it was sold at places like Revolve, Ukes, etc. Their vibe is very beachy, casual, lots of fun animal prints, mainly sweatpants and sweatshirts. The resale value, as I'm currently looking at it, ranges from $25 to $80, averaging around $40 for individual pieces, more for sets. Anyway, pick it up if you don't have to pay too much, try it out, and I will be watching its value. Sometimes discontinuation spikes a resale value, and sometimes it tanks this. So we're gonna have to watch. But yeah, as far as I can tell, they're not selling this brand anymore. Next is All Things Moki. They began in 2013, designed by Aya Tabari. It's like an artisanal fashion brand inspired by love of color, beautiful fabrics, traditional embroidery methods. The company is based in Amsterdam, and if I had to describe it in one word, I would describe it as fun. It is such a fun brand. It doesn't even retail that high, or maybe my brain is just broken from going over all of these luxury brands. But the retail is around $150 to $350 for most pieces. Okay, I wrote that it was from Amsterdam, and now I see here that I wrote that it was from Dubai, so I'm not 100% sure which it is. Maybe she was like born in Amsterdam and lives in Dubai. I don't know. The resale is pretty amazing. You can get over $100 for most substantial pieces like dresses, knits, etc. Solid bolo, and I would pick it up under most circumstances. I would be remiss if I didn't say there are a lot of comps under $100, but it would take me a good entire year before I would let someone buy a piece for under $75 from me unless it was stained or something. But that might just be me showing my bias and liking this brand. Next, Alo Yoga. I actually have a super personal soft spot for this brand, so no going into this, I'm pretty biased. My parents used to run a garden wholesale company, which sounds like a total non sequitur, but actually they carried Alo Yoga for a short while as one of their suppliers way back in like 2012 or something. I was super impressed with my dad for closing that deal. I don't know if I ever told him that. Hopefully, maybe he'll see this. But come on, a gardening wholesale company carrying aloe yoga, he could sell water to a fish. Okay, anyway, Aloe Yoga. It's an LA-based company. It launched in 2007 and is an activewear brand that has a serious following. So lots of celebrities wear it and is mega successful. It retails for, I'd say, about 20% higher than Lululemon, so like 90 to 180 for most pieces. The resale is highly dependent on which piece you find. More recent, the better. And then they also have a few super popular pieces. Range for resales usually between $40 for sweatshirts, 30 plus for leggings, 20 plus for sports bras. Skirts are a bit more, backpacks are more, and they also make a puffer jacket, which have the highest resale value. Here are all of our aloe comps in case you're curious. Also, BOLO this Sherpa hoodie. It can sell for like $300 and it is very rare and sought after. So, in particular, this Sherpa hoodie, then puffer jackets, then everything else. Next is Aloha's. This is a company based in Barcelona, Spain. They're all about on-demand fashion, meaning they only make what is ordered as it's ordered. Very big on sustainability. They make all sorts of clothing items and bags, but most popular by far are their shoes. The logo can look a bit different, but if it says Aloha's and if it says Made in Spain, that's this brand. They're carried at Revolve, Anthropologie, department stores like The Bay, Nordstrom, etc. They sell for $150 to $300, and they resell for a very impressive 60 to 130 used pairs, more for newer tags. And they have a few styles that are really sought after, like their marshmallow sandals, which look like these, and their square-toed muled heels. I'd pick them up most times and totally pay up to maybe $25, depending on the style and on the condition. Next is Alp and Rock, and being just an N. This is such a cool brand. The owner, Susan Reich, was raised in Canada, Denmark, and Switzerland, so it doesn't shock any of us that it is a skiing, outdoor adventure focused brand. But it also donates 10% of its profits, and it always has, to Room to Read. And part of beginning the company was the owner's desire to help fund education of girls in developing countries, which is so cool. Most pieces sell between $140 to $350. They're especially known for their Henley long sleeve t-shirts somehow. And they have a lot of graphic lettering with like Whistler or Aspen or Les Alpes, other internationally famed ski resorts. The resale value is incredibly impressive to the point where you can comfortably pay up to like $20 for one of their long sleeve t-shirts and have tons of room for profit. Most of them selling between $60 and $120, which is very impressive. I do want to warn you not to assume that you can pay up more for their jackets. I would assume, it being a ski-based brand, that the most valuable items would be their winter jackets, outerwear, etc. But no, even their down jackets are usually outperformed by their classic long-sleeve Henley shirt in resale. It's a bit mind-boggling to me, but hey, what do I know? Next is Alpha Industries. Alpha Industries is an American clothing manufacturer, and it was founded in 1959 in Knoxville, Tennessee. It specializes in American military style and fashion apparel. So the history of this brand, they were originally contracted to make jackets and other clothing for the U.S. military in the 1960s, and then they entered the commercial fashion market in like the 70s. So by far the most valuable thing they sell, especially for resale, are their jackets, and in particular their bomber jackets. Honestly, scrolling comps, I have to scroll for a very long time before I even find anything of theirs that's sold other than a bomber jacket. So look out for the bomber jackets. The comps on these range from like $30 to $95. We actually found one and we sold one of them semi-recently. Here's our listing. It sold for $80 on the US Closet. And it didn't even have a terribly long wait, so maybe like a month or two. So yeah, if you find one of those, pick it up. And if you find vintage, those can be even more valuable, so pay special attention to those. The next brand is Alphalete. It is a gym and workout wear brand. I always think of it as a competitor of Gymshark, although that may be me overestimating it a little bit. It's known as one of the most successful apparel companies that was ever born or founded by an influencer. So Christian Guzman made the brand back in 2012, sold it mainly to his YouTube following. He's a fitness influencer with like 1 million Instagram followers. I'm honestly impressed. The retail of their pieces is between like $40 and $100, and the resale is strangely strong in the $20 to $60 range. I find the whole concept kind of perplexing, but I would still make a profit flipping it happily. Just don't pay up too much for these pieces for sure, but under $5, maybe sometimes even under 10, yeah, I'd grab it. Next is Altazara. This is a luxury women's fashion brand, and it was founded by Joseph Altazara in 2008. He was raised in Paris, and the brand is French-based. The retail is hecking high, as the word luxury would imply, so $1,000 or more. I have never found this brand, which is sad for me, because the resale is nice and strong. Here's what the label looks like. I want to warn you against their collab line with Target. Womp womp. The little bullseye symbol that means avoid me at all costs. But honestly, the comps are a little nonsensical, and I have no experience with the brands, so I don't even know what to say. Like, I am looking at used pieces going anywhere from $9 to $950, and that's not including the Target collabs. So anyway, if I ever find it anywhere, I'm telling you, I will giddily pick it up and give it a shot. And there are plenty of high enough comps out there to justify it, but yeah, some people let it go for less, and that is par for the course in reselling. Don't be one of them. The next brand is Amanda Uppachard, another brand named after its designer and founded in 2008. She's known for her dresses, lots of which have bright, bold, solid colors. They also have a bridal line of gowns as well. Most of her dresses retail between $200 to $400, which makes what I'm about to say for the resale even more impressive. Comps for this brand are of two minds. Either people are selling it for like $30 to $50 or for like $120 to $150. So it can retain its value very well on the secondhand market. It like almost makes me wonder if the people selling it for $30 aren't selling it to the people who then sell it for over $100. There's quite a few comps even over $200. Although I gotta be honest, if it were me, I would be holding out for over $100, depending on what I paid and how badly I really need money that week. You know, sometimes it do be like that. So I understand. Next is Amanu. It is a sandals brand, exclusively sandals. That's all they sell. And they even all look very similar. They don't have a heel, they're flat soled, and they just have different uppers. They have a customizable section on their website, or you can buy a bunch of ready-made styles. Either way, they range in retail between $275 US to around $375 max. They're carried at a few places. I saw them at Nordstrom and at Anthropologie. There aren't a ton of comps. It is a very recent brand, I believe 2018 or somewhere in around there. But the comps on eBay are, the few that there are over 100. And on Poshmark, they range from 20 to 100. Newer tags usually hits over 100. And most of the Posh ones were selling around 50 or 60. And I wouldn't be personally going much lower than that. The next brand is Amadi. Amadi is a women's contemporary brand that believes in supporting a community of hardworking and ethical Los Angeles workers. Or at least that's what it says. It's designed and proudly made in Los Angeles since 2012. It is very well known for being carried at Anthropologie, but it isn't exclusive to them. I put this on my Anthropologie tier 3 list, not super high, not super low. They retail for around 80 to 150, and the resale is usually 25 to 60. I see a lot in the 35 to 40 range. New with tags, more expensive fabrics, more substantial pieces, obviously expect a bit more. I have actually bought this at a consignment store before, but it was $7 for a romper. So that's actually cheaper than what my dumb local value village would have priced it at. I would not recommend paying up for these. More than $10 for a piece, not really. And then again, a note to the Canadians out there, Anthro pieces have a slight edge on the Canadian market, so y'all can hold out for around, I don't know, like 20% more than the Americans could. The next brand is American Giant. In their About Us section on their website, it says, "We the dissatisfied, mega corporations obsessed with handing profits to shareholders grow bigger and bigger, churning out cheap stuff that leaves us all feeling empty. Meanwhile, working people are left behind." And I'm not having opinions about that message. What I learned from it is that they're a very proud American-based brand, and they're sort of bringing the concept of sustainability and environmentalism to the working class. Okay, I digress. So resale-wise, their men's and women's stuff originally sell usually between $50 for t-shirts and then like $100 to $160 for other items. The resale is usually $25 to $60 for used pieces, so that's pretty impressive retention. I've heard it sells particularly well on eBay, though I don't have like data to back that up. And the best-selling items from them seem to be their hoodies. And I'd skew it towards the men's items, honestly. Next is Ami Paris. This is by designer Alexandre Mariusi or Matidusi. He's a Parisian designer, and he launched the menswear of this brand in 2011, and in 2019 they added a women's line as well. They say they blend casual and chic. I would call them almost like a streetwear brand, known for very specific patches in the chest area of their sweaters or jumpers. Their pieces retail around the $400 to $500 mark. I'm not sure when around this became the case, but their current main logo for the last few years is a capital A with a heart symbol attached to it. And the highest comps on resale platforms are for pieces with this symbol, likely because they're more recent or because that's what they're now known for. Comps are quite often around the $50, but I've seen a few pieces go 100 over 200, and I even saw a New Tags one go for 500. So I'd probably pay up for this brand. In fact, I did once. $20 at a Value Village for a smiley face hoodie. This is what those sold for. I got two of them, and I was not mad about the profit on those, especially for a thrift store find. But yeah, if you are reselling this brand, if you're listing something as this brand, don't just call it Ami Paris. Call it Ami by the designer's name, because that is what people will be looking up, and it might be confused with other brands otherwise. Next is Amiri. Amiri is a very high-end designer brand made by Mike Amiri in 2013. The label has blown up huge recently, and I believe he won like Designer of the Year recently with some sort of very prestigious fashion governing thing. Anyway, the retail is, whoo, it's high, like $300 for a hat and $3,000 for leather pants. They currently have a plain crop t-shirt in their current 2022 collection for over $1,000. So that is what we're working with. Comps range from 100 to 800 for used items. New tags can go for more. I would pay up for this brand. I would pay up a lot for this brand, like $50, $60, $70 even. It is a top tier Bolo brand. By the way, don't mind if I like change my shirt halfway through the video on almost all of these videos. I'm filming them in sets, and then Ethan is deciding the best place to cut them. So it'll probably all be a bit of a mashup in terms of like what I look like in each video. It'll be like spliced. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Okay, let's keep going. Next brand is AMO. It is a denim and jeans brand mostly, though now they do carry all sorts of clothing. Amo is the Latin root for the word love, by the way. And the denim company was founded in 2014 in Los Angeles, intent on offering jeans that felt real. The retail is between $200 and $400 USD for their jeans, and their other items are also roughly around there. Like their plain solid white tank top is $90, so pricey. They carry their items at Nordstrom, Shopbop, Revolve, Farfetch, Anthropologie. You know, the classic higher end retailers. Their non-jeans don't have as high of a resale value as their jeans, which usually sell around $30 to $100, averaging around $60 or so for used pairs, more for new tags. And with all denim, make sure you're sourcing current styles, so no skinny jeans right now, wide leg, whatever's in style. The next brand is Amour Vert. Wow, they call themselves the original sustainable brand on their website. They're women-led and made in California with zero waste. Amorvere makes very sustainable women's clothing with bold femininity, according to them. They were founded in 2010, so that's very bold claims about the sustainability. They make all sorts of women's clothes, from basics to denim to dresses, and they're really big on the fabrics that they use, like cupro, if I'm saying that right, washable silk, some eco form of viscose, etc. The retail price is not that high, usually $75 to $300, although maybe my opinion on high is being skewed by this list. A lot of their items retail for under $200. I've never actually found this brand, but I see a ton of people haul it. But I gotta be honest, it only makes, just makes those lists cut. It's definitely a lower tier BOLO brand in the scale of our business and our target ASP, average sales price. Resold items are going between $20 and $60 max, a ton in the $35 range. Definitely worth it at the bins and at lower thrift store prices, but I would not be paying up for this brand. And they also have a resale section on their website, which is part of their sustainability things. So that is both cool as a reseller and competition. So that's likely driving the resale value slightly down. The next brand is ampersand as apostrophe. This is an American-based designer handbag and purse brand. They're known for minimalist designs that serve multiple functions, bags that convert into clutches or shoulder bags or backpacks or whatever. The designer was an architecture major before she did fashions, so they're very form-focused. The bags retail between $400 and $700 and $100 for a simple card holder or an extra strap. So scrolling through comps, you should be able to get over $100 for these bags resale pretty easily. There's multiple comps over 200, even a few over 300, and tons around 150. Some are lower, but I'm fully ignoring those now. I would source this anywhere I found it for maybe up to $40 or so. Depends on my mood that day and how much stuff I'm buying, which is not totally how you should run your reselling business. But yes, Next is Amsale. Well, the first thing I learned looking this up is that I've been saying it wrong. It isn't Amsale, it's Amsale, which is the designer's first name. She's an Ethiopian designer, and her brand began when she didn't like any of the options for dresses to wear to her own wedding. So they make wedding dresses and all sorts of wedding-related dresses, bridesmaids, etc. The site says Amsale is credited with the modern wedding dress, which, if that's accurate, hot damn, that's amazing. They do some collabs with BHDLN, and some dresses are sold at Anthro, although I want to say that 99% of the dresses, white or not, will retail around $300 to $750 and resell between $40 to $120. But they also have a blue label, and it says blue label right on it, and that retails around $3,000 to $10,000 and can resell for $500 to $1,500, although those pieces are both rare and you'd be paying up a lot for it because it's a very nice wedding gown is what those are. Next is Amur. I just learned that Amur is the name of the 10th longest river on Earth in eastern Russia and China. Google is fun. Irrelevant. Amur, the brand, stands for a mindful use of resources, apparently. And is anyone else starting to feel like these sustainability phrases are starting to lose all their meaning? Oh my god, and we are only halfway through A. Okay, moving on. The retail of Amur is pretty high. They're known mostly for dresses, although they also make bottoms and tops and some other clothes. They use a lot of bright colors. The dresses retail between $500 and $1,000. They're carried, all the usual places. I feel like I don't even have to go over them right now. You know what I'm going to say. Farfetch, Revolve, etc. Resale is mostly in the $60 to $200 range, more for new with tags. Less if you don't like getting the full value for the items you sell. Just kidding. Oh man, that is sassy. Maybe now is a good time to quit for the day. Just kidding. Let's keep going. Next is Amuse Society. Okay, this is one of the lowest BOLOs on this list. In fact, let's not even learn about it. I just put it on this list to say, here's the tag. I see people thrifting, hauling this all the time, but oh my god, comps suck. $8 to $25 mostly. Very bad. The only redeeming comps are their swimsuits. They seem to have popular bikinis and one pieces. To be fair, most of their clothes only even retail for like $70. So it's slightly fair that the comps aren't great resale, but yeah, this may be the only bolo on this list that's just here to warn you against it most of the time. But I just see it all over the place on reseller platforms, and comps are not supporting that. So maybe they used to, but they don't now. And personally, I would even hesitate to be picking this up from the bins. Hi, welcome to the part of the video where I film brands that I forgot and I'm filming after the fact. But we have all the finishing touches on our set, including this sign, which is my favorite thing in the world. Not in the world. It's one of my top favorite things in this room right now. So I hope you guys like it, and I hope that I only have a few brands to catch up on, and if you see me looking like this, that means I forgot something. Again. Next is Ambush. This is a Tokyo, Japan-based brand. They began as just a jewelry brand, and they gained popularity for their trademark POW graphic on their pieces, like this. And then they added clothing as well in 2015, and they're just a big name in fashion today. Most pieces retail around $1,000. And looking at their current collection, there's like a plain white tube top for $700. So that is the level we're dealing with. They have collabs with Converse, Nike, Disney, a few more. Comps are actually notably way better on eBay than they are on Poshmark. eBay, most of the comps from this brand will sell well over $200. On Poshmark, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, I see someone sold a POW ring for $20 and then someone else resold that ring later on for $100. So do what you want with that information, but I don't think I'd be accepting lowball offers, especially for collab sneakers, for hoodies, and for any of their POW jewelry. That's the highest. Oh, I think we might have just run out of script. No, it really looks like we ran out of script. So I'm going to film an outro, even though that's probably not when you're going to watch it, is when I don't know, Ethan splice this outro in anywhere. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope these videos are helpful to you and your brand knowledge and your research and your confidence going into thrift stores and going, I know what to shop for. Yes, you do. Anyway, we will see you in the next BOLO Alphabet video. We have a long way to go, so hit subscribe down below if you don't want to miss the next one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!